Peace and blessings to the tribe. Peace and blessings to the tribe. We have an amazing live tonight. If anything, we're going to learn a lot. We have a master teacher of astrology in Sister Myra Moss. We have the master teacher, Rod Hayes himself. We have the master mother, OJ Yemi in the building. And we wanted to start this tonight off, Matriarch Monday. We always want to do something special for the clan for Matriarch Monday. And tonight we have, like I say, it's a big honor to have these three people in the room tonight. But before we do anything else, I want to allow OJ Yemi to do her prayer for us tonight on behalf of the elders of the night, please.
Okay, thank you. Trust in the circle of life. You can use a small white candle, or you can use a regular candle. You can use a glass of water to sprinkle as I call forth the names. I salute the enlightened divine feminine forces of nature, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. I call forth the enlightened ancient grandmothers. I call forth the enlightened ancestors who are healers, energy workers, prayer warriors, educators, providers, warriors, those who did what was necessary to maintain the bloodline, those who knew how to navigate through life regardless of the circumstances. Thank you for life. Thank you for your support, sacrifice, and love. Thank you for all that you've done for your loved ones and bloodline. Hear us. We need access to your wisdom, your spiritual power to guide us. Please help us to navigate through life, through the day, through the night, through the hour. Break the cycle of inherent sickness, disease, affliction, trauma, curses, mental illness, depression, pain, and shame of family secrets. Please heal our wounds, protect our most vulnerable. Please heal and free us from unhealthy addictions and give us the willpower to gain mastery over the triggers to our unhealthy addiction. Please don't leave us at the mercy of life. Ashe, 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 oh, toe, toe, toe.
Ashe.
Wholeness.
Wholeness, goddess. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Also, we got a lot of elements in here tonight: air, earth, water, earth, wind, earth, wind, and fire. I want to burn some ancestor money, man. Thank y'all for tonight, because already we're starting off amazing. And give something to the ancestors. I'll say. Make sure I don't burn down this house. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing fine. I'm doing fine.
I say, I just sent you a couple $1 trillion just now, so. OG Rod, how you feeling?
Peace, man. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Good to see you, Sister Myra.
You too, always, Brother Rod.
Man, tonight I wanted to call this Matriarch Monday the feather of Mayat, and it represents balance. The reason being because this goddess has been talking about balance and wholeness for years and years and years. She's been a guide for myself. I met her one time in Orlando. We brought her out to the Bronze Kingdom. She was an amazing inspiration. She's actually the one that was teaching us about the power of feather magic. So I wanted to name this the feather of Mayat, the feather of balance. Everybody says they're indigenous. Everybody wants to be indigenous. So we all fall up under that feather of Mayat. So I want to take time to acknowledge that. Like I said, this is a master teacher of astrology, the master teacher of the matriarch. This is a goddess that we're speaking to right now. You're in the presence of God. So with no further ado, I don't have many questions. I really want to just allow y'all to channel in your natural energy and let us know, especially in these last couple months, the things that need to be already done, or before we get, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us are already doing the work and everything else, but positions. I know one time you were speaking about changing transformation of values for each of us, and I've noticed even myself, me being an Aries, I used to be all fire, 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 and for whatever reason, one day it just switched off, and now it's all calm and water, and you know what I'm saying? So, Goddess, with no further ado, how are you? Go ahead.
Well, it is appropriate to talk about the feather because we in the last day of Libra.
I see.
And Libra's air, It's the air element, and it does deal with Ma'at. We're dealing with Ma'at with Libra as well, because the planetary ruler of Libra is Venus, you see. So
I see.
it is appropriate to do the feather for the Libra energy. Tomorrow, we'll go into tomorrow as Libra, but we'll come out tomorrow as Scorpio.
I see.
And I've been telling everybody about the Taurus Scorpio axis of energy. I really think that's the axis of energy, because I'm a holistic, so I don't talk about one sign without its opposite. You see, two halves make a whole. So Taurus and Scorpio, that's the axis of energy where everything is going to come to a head. This is where it's all going to, because Scorpio is transformation, the death of the old for a rebirth of the new at a higher vibration. So we're seeing the old falling now. We're seeing the illusion, this matrix, all this falling. As that Scorpio energy is taking down the old, and simultaneous, those of us that are rising, that are on the spiritual tip of things. So, Mayat plays a big part in this with this Libra energy. It's like the peace before the storm. Storm Scorpio. So I did do what I taught before when it came to the feather. I always tell people, when you walk upon a feather, pick it up. That means you've earned the blessings of Ma'at. Okay, but you have to receive the feather in order to receive the reward or the gift. So don't go looking for it. You have to just walk up on one. And the more, the smaller the feather, the more new, the baby feathers are the ones with the biggest impact.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to say.
So,
based on what Sister Myra was saying, when I go out, I know when I'm on a scavenger hunt. The spirit send you on a scavenger hunt.
yes.
And like, I don't see a feather that shouldn't be in the location that it is. Like, why is this feather here?
Yes.
It's in prison lingo, we call that 036, major out of place. It ain't nowhere near where it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
So you pick it up. The colors is significant. The number of the day of the week is significant. The day of the week is significant by name, number, and color, because we don't know every day got a color.
Yes. So,
right. All that significance. But sometimes once you go on the scavenger hunt, sometimes it's not feathers. They have you picking up messages. I picked up a box one time. It had a message in there. What looked like my mama's hairpiece was in the box.
Wow.
And then it had a book that got my sister saying on the book. Both of them gone to the other side.
Oh,
right?
this was meant for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when I picked it up, I got pictures of it. I took pictures of it. And on the way, I had picked these flowers up. The flowers, they was little white flowers. They look like lilies, but they not.
Wow.
But my cousin Lily and my sister, they was always together.
Oh my.
So they was thick as thieves. So when I seen the flower that looked like the lily, I picked it up. Right. And then I picked up another one that looked exactly the same, different kind of flower, but it was bigger.
Wow.
So then I put them on the table and took the picture of them for the receipt. And on the way back from the walk, I look over to this, I see a young buck deer. And then I see a wolf. We don't have a lot of wolves around here.
Wow.
But he looked like he had just stepped out of the groomers getting the manicure and pedicure. He was so immaculately kept. But don't nobody around here have no wolves because they'd be in jail.
That's ancestral. That's ancestral. Wolves.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was a whole message with that unfolded over the following weeks. But that's how they send you on that scavenger hunt.
Absolutely. I tell people, like, if they're getting things for their altar, like the stones, go outside and the first stone that screams at you, that's the stone that you're supposed to get. Your eye will just cut to it, automatically. So we're more energy than we are physicality. And right now, our physicality is taking a back seat to the spirituality of things. We're going to look straight in at people's spirits now. You know, just by the way you look bad, things not good in your spirit. You look good, things are not. You don't have to put your finger on any particular thing, you know, just an overall, because your spirit is your overall energy. Spirit is always collective. So yeah, you know, it's time. This balance is occurring. That is what Libra is bringing in, the balance, you know, balancing the scales, and then Scorpio is going to take it on home. So the veil is thinning, and yeah, you know, so
yes, ma'am. And something you talked about years and years ago was balancing and mastering of elements. So again, I think we have earth, wind, and fire, and earth, wind, and fire, and water in building tonight.
Yeah, that's my energy. That's my energy. I have a Capricorn sun, then I have a Gemini moon, which is the air or the wind, and then I have an Aries rising, so air, the fire. And so that's and one of my best friends I met became my client was Fred White, the drummer from Earth, Wind, and Fire. So we great friendship. I mean, we were talking almost every day. You know, very good friendship. And but he did pass over about a couple of years ago. But yeah, and I asked him. I said, "Why?" He said, "Ask me any question you want about Earth, Wind, and Fire." I said, "That was my all-time favorite group." And I said, "Why did you get where did you get the name Earth, Wind, and Fire?" And he said it was Maurice's astrological energy. And I know Maurice was Sagittarius, but he had his astrological chart done, and that's where they got the Earth, Wind, and Fire from his chart. So I said, "Well, what happened to the water? Where's the water?" And he said both his parents were Pisces. So the full gamut there.
And my mother was Aries, my father was Leo, and I'm Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
I'm the Aries, and my mama's a Scorpio. It's weird.
Oh, yeah.
my dad's Melchizedek, so you know how that go.
Yeah. So, and right now we are in the air, the Libra, and that's where the air and fire will come to the surface. You know, Aries, Libra, and Aries. Okay. So if you're Aries, then Libra, this is your last day of your opposite energy. And your opposite energy is either your maximum potential or your maximum challenge. And that depends on how balanced you are with your opposite, you see. If you're in balance, then it's your fulfillment energy. That eternal cycle, you know, you complete that cycle. Two halves make a whole 180 degrees on each half. So you've completed that 360-degree spiral when you put those two halves together. 6 axes of energy is Aries, Libra, Taurus, Scorpio, Gemini, Sagittarius, Cancer, Capricorn, Leo, Aquarius, and Virgo, Pisces. Those are the 6 axes of energy. When you balance those, that's how you get the whole, individual wholeness.
I see.
And your spiritual energy is going to be your opposite energy. So you would do the physical half through Aries, and then your spirit will do the spiritual half through Libra.
I see.
That first spiral.
Yeah. Hey, I love the way you talk about
the scales of Libra is strategically placed between Scorpio and Virgo.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Scorpio is supposed to be the great redeemer of the Virgo, which represents the divine feminine energy.
Yes.
The Libra used to be the claws of the Scorpio. Yes. But when they created the imbalance, the inequity between man and woman, in order to tell us, they put it in the zodiac as Libra between Virgo, Pisces. Between Scorpio, Pisces. Scorpio, Virgo.
Virgo, yes.
Or Virgo, Scorpio was one zodiac sign at one point.
Yes. And when I look at, I always say the first 6 signs are physical. And the second 6 signs are spiritual. Neither one's no higher or lower than the other. Balance is the key to everything in the universe. So the spirit needs a vessel just as much as the vessel needs the spirit. So from Aries to Taurus to Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, we have the physical half. And then from Libra to Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, you have the spiritual half, you see. So with Virgo being the last sign in the physical half, I call Virgo like the Christ child, because that's where you ascend above the horizon line from the physical half into the spiritual half through Libra. And Virgo is what cleanses, purifies. It's the healer. It's the one who cleanses and purifies you. That's why they're so meticulous with details, because they can leave no stone unturned as they hunt out all impurities to cleanse and purge you in order for you to heal in your wisdom and unplug from the matrix. And then ascend above that horizon line into the spiritual half through Libra. Now that you've been cleansed and purged and purified through Virgo of false values, anytime you're dealing with earth, you're dealing with values, then that is why you can now get into that equal and balanced partnership with your own spirit through Libra, where you come to your individual wholeness, your individual Christhood. Then your mate also has to come into balance with their spirit through Libra. Only then do the two come together as twin souls. And then when the twin souls come together in Libra, they bond in Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of bonding. And then dealing with water, love, so they bond in their love. And since Scorpio is such an intense and extreme sign, the intensity and the extremity of the bonding of the twin souls is what activates the transformation. Scorpio is the sign of transformation. The Mayans call it the great crossover. That crosses you over to the great creative place of Sagittarius, where you step up to the abundance of your power, because fire is power. And then the planetary ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. Whatever Jupiter touches, it brings in abundance. So stepping up to your abundance of collective empowerment. That's the cycle we're in right now, you see. It's because we're in the last cycle. And that's the cycle we're following right now. So
I'm still learning. I learned from the cradle to the grave, and I know how powerful astrology is, because that's the blueprint of our lives. I'm still learning though. Like mine is kind of weird because it's Aries, Sagittarius, Gemini. So it's a lot of so how do you break that down when you have all these different things in your house? What does that mean when you're Aries, Sagittarius, Gemini, or somebody said they're a Leo? A Libra, Leo. Somebody said their whole chart on here, but I can't remember. But just when you have a chart like that, what does that mean when when you have these three houses, or when they go even deeper, when they start talking about your Chirons and your Lilith? Do you tap into that at all?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, okay, what your astrological chart is your collective. Spirit is always collective. Physical is individual. That's why they say where more than one is called in my name, so shall I be, Father's spirit. You have to pull energy to create spirit. It's a collective. So, so when you are looking at your astrological energy, you're looking at your spiritual energy. If somebody was to take a snapshot of the universe at the moment of your birth, where were all the planets sitting, what constellations, and how did those rays come together, converge to make who you are in your collective or spiritual energy? So that is where you're looking at your holistic energy. Every planet is adding energy to your composition as to who you are in your spiritual energy. So that's just your collective energy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Also, you have to look at these are energies that influence, but they don't control.
Absolutely.
Right. The energy that influence doesn't necessarily control you. It's just like if a person tells you when you're in a jolly mood to punch somebody in the mouth, you're gonna laugh at them. But if they catch you angry and tell you to punch somebody in the mouth, you're going to be more susceptible to their influence. Just the same with the stellar energies.
Yes.
When you are in certain mindsets based on your energy signature from your birth chart, it tell you what you can be influenced by, which one of these energies, whether it's Chiron, Pluto, whether it's Mercury or Venus. It's just the influence.
Yes.
But the way that you perceive the influence determines how you perceive yourself So you know where you weak at, that's where you need to be more vigilant. And you know where you strong at, then you need to be more patient.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
can't have strength without patience. Right?
Severe.
And if you don't build on the weakness, it'll cause it to deterioration, what we call entropy, the loss of energy. When we misusing how we perceive our energy and we don't apply it, somebody else using it somewhere else because we didn't.
Yes.
Right? Because it's the law, the universal law of use. If the universe send you a blessing and you say, oh, well, that ain't the car I want, you ain't got to do nothing but accept the car.
Right.
Gratitude changes everything because now if you say that ain't the car I want, well, somebody else end up with it. And you be like, man, I should have took that car.
Yep.
Now you living in regret.
Yeah.
Right. Because you squandered the opportunity and gave the opportunity to the next available grateful vessel. Gratitude is so powerful with your movement of your energies. People don't underestimate the value that gratitude have to their manifesting potential.
Yes.
All of the energies is just potentials.
Yes.
They might influence, but they don't control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you know, and once you know where your birth chart is, you say, okay, these is the energy. So, like for instance, the 3i Atlas was speeding up and slowing down. It started off supposed to got here in December, then now it's all the way to my birthday.
Oh, okay.
Right. The irony to that is on my birthday, Jupiter goes into retrograde.
Wow.
That's the big payback.
Yes.
That's the big payback. So I be telling people, I said, I ain't worried about nothing because Jupiter go retrograde on my birthday. Anybody that owe me anything, they won't be able to keep it to themselves. They gonna have to run that.
That's blessings.
By the power of the energy.
Yep, the blessings that's been stored up now moving out, and and this is what my most famous saying is. We're energy transmitters as well as receivers, but spiritual energy moves inside out, not outside in. That means what you send out is what you spiral back. Spirit is spiral. If you're sending it out at 20%, you're going to spiral it back at 20%. If you're sending it out at 80%, you're going to spiral it back. But it all starts from within. It's not what, is you're being influenced from an external. Everything starts from within, and it depends on what you're sending out, as to what you're going to draw back in return. See, so we're transmitters as well as receivers.
Yes. I tell them, look at it like you playing handball by yourself.
Yes.
the ball carries your intention, and depending on how you hit the ball, is where it's gonna come back at.
Yes.
Are you gonna be in position to recover the ball?
Yeah.
Or are you just haphazardly swinging, slapping the ball just because you can hit it?
Right. No understanding about, your control. I said, nobody has more power than you do to create your own reality. But you have to know that. That's the Aquarian age. I know. You have to know your power. That's the Aquarius and Leo axis of energy. Aquarius is I know, and Leo is creative powers. When you balance those two, I know I am a creative ruler in order to activate that power. If you don't know it, you don't have it. That's why the ancestors left us the message, know thyself. Everything is being exposed now because of the Aquarius and Leo. This always happens in the Aquarian age because Leo is the creative ruler. So it's now evolution, Aquarius, the evolution of a new creative rulership out of an abuse of power, which we are on now, to a humanitarian empowerment, because Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. So it's now time for us to evolve from this abuse of power to a humanitarian empowerment, as our ancient rulers, our ancestors, are now passing us the baton as the new age rulers, to evolve from a corrupted abuse of power, which they've reached their maximum at 180 degrees, a global level. They've reached their maximum 180 degrees of corrupted abuse of power at a global level. Okay, so they're done. Their half is completed. Now it's time to hop the fence to the spiritual half. That's where we rise at, because of the melanin and our, fluidity and harmony with the energy of the universe, you see, through our melanin. So this is how this script is being flipped. Energy only unfolds through a negative and positive polarity, which means no pain, no gain. Same extent the pain will be the same extent the gain. Always the darkest before the dawn. You have to completely get through the worst to get to the best, because you have to complete one half before you activate the opposite half in response. You don't blend energy, you harmonize energy. And we're now at that maximum half of the physical half, where the physical powers that have been at a global level have reached their maximum of their corrupted abuse of power. And that is why the script is now being flipped to the spiritual half. Everything is going to be the opposite. What we just come through, we're now getting ready to experience the opposite energy from a spiritual, vibration. So, this is Jubilee time. Jubilee.
You know what, Sister Myra,
Yes.
I just spoke with, I was just a young elder. I was either the last one I did with him or the one before.
Yes.
And I was telling him about the 180 degrees to the 180 flip.
Yes.
In order to get the full 360, in order to bring the alpha back to the omega.
Yes.
And we know the alpha is the alpha male, but the alpha male ain't shit without the omega mother.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? Because she's the end. She's the be all the ends are, because it's mama's. So a lot of people don't understand what that means. It means that men still got rulership rights, but the women got the right to veto anything that can damage the children and the earth.
Yes.
So a lot of the things that we used to be able to do under the patriarchal system, the mothers say, no, that's toxic to the children, that's toxic to the planet. We can't do that. Those experiments have to be done somewhere off world, far away from here.
Yes.
Right. We learned our lesson from letting mad scientists from foreign places come here and do their science experiments on our watch. Because we got our boo-boo spanked for their dirt.
Yes.
Mama told me the good had to suffer with the bad, because I couldn't understand why we had to suffer with the dirty dealers. Right. But our suffering generated pre-karma.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
It's an alchemy process. It's an alchemical process.
Yeah. So it's better to accumulate a benevolent pre-karma than the malicious karma.
Yes.
That malicious karma gonna make life do something that an ass whooping won't.
Yes. Absolutely. So
real quick, I wanna catch this before because there's so many comments in here already. Thank you to the clan and the tribe. Water Falcon said, can we get back to explaining collectively where we are in this current cycle and what's next? You might have already explained it, but how do you feel about that, Sister Myra?
Yeah, like I said, Scorpio, and we go into Scorpio tomorrow. Taurus and Scorpio, this is the axis of energy that I've been guided to see is going to be the axis that everything actually turns around. Like I said, Scorpio is the sign of transformation. That means the death of the old for a rebirth of the new at a higher vibration. The old has to go in order for the new to blossom. And what everybody is seeing in the world right now is the fall of the illusion, the fall of the matrix, the fall of, that leads me to, I want to tell you this Terry Shibro story. This happened some years back, like in the early 2000s. And there was this lady named Terry Shibro. And Terry Shibro was on life support. And what happened, she had been on life support for 10 years. And the husband wanted to take her off of life support, and the parents wanted to keep her on. So they had to go to court. So when they went to court, George Bush, he was president at the time, George Bush Jr. And he came out and said, well, I think they should keep her on life support. So that's when my antennas went up. I'm like, well, why would the president of the United States be concerned about this woman and whether or not she's on life support or not? I deal in symbolism. So the husband won the court case. They took her off of life support, and she died. And when she died, a week after she died, the Pope died. The Pope died, the father of illusion. So what they explained to me, you know, as I'm analyzing this, if you look at the word terry, that's terror. You see, materialism, the ma of terror, materialism, or materialism being propped up through an illusion. It's not real. The life support was, you know, she's been propped up by this life support, which is the illusion, the materialism being propped up through an illusion. It's not real. And when materialism dies, then so does the father of illusion, which means they're no longer going to be trying to manipulate us, you know, through materialism. Now it's going to be brute force. You know, they're just going to, you know, we have a de facto government here, you see, and it's not real. So people still trying to stand back on, well, we got rights, we got constitution. All that didn't went out the water. They're doing whatever they want to do. Now that's the brute force that they're now using, you know, to control the masses of people through the brute force, since materialism has died, because it's gone. It's no longer real. So that was the symbolism of the Terry Shibro thing, you know. The fall of materialism, where we're at right now, is going to be the fall of the illusion. You know, they're not going to pretend anymore. They're going to do whatever they want to do. You know, yeah, whatever they want to do. But it's on you as to whether or not you, you know, nobody has more power than you do to create your own reality. But like I said, you got to know that. And if you don't know your power, then you don't have it. If you believe they can get you, yes, they can get you. If you know they can't touch you, they can't touch you. You know, my mom saying, I'm hammer time. You can't touch this, you see.
I say.
That's why when I tell people I can walk up on an airplane, look around at the people, and, you know, talk to them telepathically and tell them how fortunate they are to be on an airplane with me, a royal being, because I'm on that plane is going to be protected. You see, they'll be protected in lieu of that. But one day my spirit said, you need to stop telling people that, because they said you'll be protected, but they'll be on their own. But that is what we got to walk in the, not enough just to know anymore. Now we got to be able to walk in the knowing. It's a difference in knowing and walking in the knowing.
Apply that knowledge.
It's time to walk in the knowing. You know, you got to act like you know who you are as a royal being, a universal royal being, you know, and activate that power. And if you believe they can get you, I'm under protection, you know, nothing can touch this. And they've tried. They try to send weather phenomenals. They try to do all kinds of things, but I'm just too protected because I know, and I protect my loved ones. This is what I'm trying to tell people. Know your power, protect your loved ones, protect yourself, and sit back and watch the show. This isn't about us. This is about the old, you know, the corrupted. The only sin is the abuse of power. So those in the spiritual reality, that's opposite the physical, where there's a multitude of sins. But in the spiritual, there's only one sin, and that's the corrupted abuse of power. And they've reached their maximum of their corrupted abuse of power, you see. So, like I said, the script is flipped. Now it's time for us. Everything did start matriarchal. And that is when our ancestors had powers. They could fly. They could breathe underwater. They could talk telepathically with the plants, the universe, the animals, each other. We still have those powers, but we've been in the conscious realm. It's time for us to go into mama's subconscious realm. You see, the conscious realm is father's domain, the spiritual domain. But now it's time for us to go into mama's half. When it started matriarchal, since spirit is spiral, that's when it spiraled from the matriarchal half, and it went external and masculine to the patriarchal half. But anytime we get into the Aquarian age, it's come back full circle to the matriarchal half again. And it's time for us to hop that fence to that matriarchal. And that's what Scorpio does. It helps us hop that fence, because you don't blend, you know, so you take down one in order to open up, you know, the other. So that's where we're at right now. We're at that crossroads where it's time to hop the fence. It's time to tap into your subconscious powers. That's Pisces energy. They're interested to your Akashic records, your ancient memory, where you now tap back into the energy of our ancient ancestors who had powers. There's 3 realms we have to harmonize with. The cosmic realm, which is the soul realm, the subconscious, mama's domain, where we're dealing with ancient ancestors. Then we go to the spiritual realm, the conscious realm, father's domain, where we deal with spiritual ancestors. Our spiritual ancestors are our loved ones who have made their transition in this lifetime, the ones you're conscious of. They are the ones who go on that spiritual front line as your team and entourage, bringing that energy from the spiritual realm. They have access to the subconscious. They can bring the energy from the subconscious, our ancient ancestors, to the spiritual realm. And then the spiritual ancestors are the ones that will balance with the physical vessel of that family in order to channel that energy to that physical vessel in order to manifest that energy at ground level. That is how we're stepping up as the new rulers. We can now just step up to our ancestors and say, which one of my ancestors have mastered in this creative power? Channel that vibration to me. Let me manifest it at ground level. That's where we're at right now. Yes, you see.
That go back to what I was saying about don't use the energy.
What's that?
Go Chief.
Huh?
You left out the material part, which is also feminine, which is the earth itself.
Yes,
So the masculine is trapped between feminine and feminine. It's displayed in the iconography in Kemet as 2 queens holding up the king.
Yes.
Right. So when we realize that when you go through the zodiac, you start off not knowing nothing. This is the beginning of your fool's journey.
Yes.
And going through the fool's journey, you have to look at where each zodiac sign in your chart and what they affect.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Once you realize that all of these are the energies that you have to work with in order to balance yourself out, then you realize that in order to see what's going on the ground, you matching what's going on in the stars, but you got to cheat.
Yes.
The cheat takes you from the fool's journey to the hero's journey in 72 cards.
Yes.
Right. And the 72 cards is also representative of the 72 elders.
Okay.
Right. And this is supposed to be the wise council of elders. Right. So the 72 elders, they represent what's that? 6 times 12. 6 times 12. So it's 6 deacons to each house.
Yes.
And each of the deacons is a lesser energy that tells you what the higher energy's direction is flowing.
Yes.
Right. So as you process this, you starting off on the fool's journey, not knowing nothing, but on the hero's journey at the final end, you end up as the emperor or the high priest or the empress and the high priestess. Those are the highest 4 positions in the deck.
Yes.
Right.
And the emperor is Aries energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it's funny how all those positions, once you realize your position, once you know your position, once you know yourself, you start realizing, damn, why you've been doing the things you're doing, playing your position, and then understanding what you need, the balance, the patience, etc., etc. Goddess, the goddess in the comments from the Phoenix Circle asked, "What is your zodiac?" I know we said Capricorn, but she probably didn't catch it at first.
Oh yeah, Capricorn. I'm Capricorn, January the 8th.
I say. So we got to put you.
January 8, 1952. My year adds up to 8. I was born on the 8th day, and then you add up all my numbers, I get 8. So I'm a triple 8, tri-infinity, trinity.
I also asked the clan or anybody that's listening to look up your mother's year that she was born and look up your grandmother's year they were born, because that'd be important. When I was trying to figure out why I was all into dragons and reptiles and turtles for my totem. And then one day I was looking at my mom, my alternate. I looked at her obituary and it said 19. I knew what year she was born, but the year she was born was the year of the wood serpent. My mom was a dragon, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
all of it plays in part. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The whole cosmic order of bouncing around, like for some way somehow, me and Rod are like always interconnected in something I can't even explain all the time. But
well, you sit right next door to each other on the astrological chart. You know, Aries and then Taurus.
no, Rod's a Scorpio. Rod's a
Yeah,
Scorpio.
but see, that's because I look at the whole.
Yes,
I
yes,
see him as Scorpio Taurus, you see.
Gotcha.
And his spiritual energy would be the Taurus, you see. So his spiritual energy is in harmony with your sun energy in that respect. You see.
The mystics legends say that the only zodiac sign stubborn enough to teach Taurus is a Scorpio.
Okay, repeat that. I didn't catch it.
The only zodiac sign stubborn enough to teach a Taurus is a Scorpio.
Yeah, it's his match. That's his equal. That's his balance there. You know, and they both stubborn, you know. But the earth might have a little more stubbornness than the water. But yeah, that's your equal. That's your balance. That's just your reflections. Opposites are the same. They're just coming from opposite perspective. It's like temperature. You know, this is how energy unfolds through a negative and positive polarity. It's like temperature. When you cross from the cold half into the hot half, or the hot half into the cold half, they're both temperature. You see, so that is what we're looking at. Two halves make a whole. So your spiritual half in balance with your physical half, how you complete that first spiral. That's the first level. Let's see, once you complete that 360-degree spiral, you open up a vortex for access to the next level, energy vibration. We're dealing with a multitude of levels, not time, levels. So that opens up the next level. There's a multitude of levels that we have to ascend till we get to that global level. The global level is where they've reached their maximum of their corrupted power at a global level. And now it's time to hop that fence to the spiritual half. That starts with a planetary. You go from your own balance with your spirit. That's personal. The first level. Then you go, the second level is a couple level. Third level is a family level. Fourth level is community. And then from the community, you do local, national, international, till you get to the global level. That's the 180-degree half, physical half, the global level, where they've come to the maximum of their corrupted abuse of power. And then we hop the fence to the other half, to the spiritual half, which starts with the planetary level. From the planetary level, we go to a universal level, from a universal level to a star system level. So these are all the range, the full range that we can balance energy and ascend. Every time you complete that spiral, it opens up a vortex for you to ascend to the next level. You start a new one at a higher vibration, only to ascend. It's an infinite process. You never get there. You only complete spirals for access to the next level, where you start a new spiral at a higher vibration. And when every time we get into the Aquarius age, we've balanced on enough levels for our evolution. Aquarius being evolution of new creative rulers. Leo, its opposite sign. So now it's time for the evolution of a new creative righteous rulership in opposition to the corrupted abuse of power that we've just completed on that physical 180-degree half, you see. So
I say
that's why we advocate the matriarchy, because the attention to what government operates on shifts.
yes.
Right. The attention is not focused on war and greed of wealth.
Absolutely.
And the hoarding of wealth.
Yes.
It's on community, it's on rearing children and building strong family bonds.
Yes.
That's
like said, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So everybody's scared of matriarchy because of the feminist movement distorted the idea of what the matriarchy is and was.
Yes.
But when you look past their little year campaign to discredit the divine feminine, they understand the best way for anything to operate is the way it was designed to work.
Absolutely.
The human family is pack animals. And we are designed to be matriarchal based on the structure of the packs we have. And you can see it today in what we call tribal communities, where they still live away from modernized culture, they still practice a lot of the old ways. And you can see the importance of the women to the cohesion of the tribal collective. And we don't see that no more, but we used to see it all the time when we had all of the grandmamas sitting on the porch watching over the children while they played in the street.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, the feminine is earth and water, or water and earth. Water is love, compassion, where earth is value, you see, character. The highest four vibrations, the four families, you see them through the four elements. Okay, so the masculine half, the air and fire. Air is the father component. Righteous father spirit, who speaks to you externally through the mind or how you think, the air element. And like I said, spirit is collective. Righteous father spirit. You have to pull energy to create spirit. So that's always a combination. Also external and masculine is the fire element. That's the sun component. S-O-N at the individual level, S-U-N at the planetary level. We're dealing with a multitude of levels. You're going to see a different face at a different level at the same line of energy. So the fire is the sun, S-O-U-N at the planetary level. And that's deals with our desires, our passions, but the highest vibration is creative powers when you're dealing with fire. Then we go to the feminine half, because the key to everything in the universe is balance. If there's a father, there has to be a mama. If there's a son, there has to be a daughter. Now we're going internal to the feminine, earth and water. Now I'm not saying male, female, I'm saying masculine, feminine. Okay, so we go to the feminine half with the water and earth. The mama, the water. You know, mama universe, mama soul, big mama, the mama of antiquity, ancestry. So, you know, like I said, everything started matriarchal, big mama, mama universe, mama magic. First two letters of magic is ma. Where father, through the air element, deals with knowing and logic and reason, mama's going to take you beyond logic and reason and knowing. She's mama magic. So she opens up the magic of the universe. And she's also the mama of love. That's the one bond that is never broken. From antiquity to new age, different lifetimes, different bodies, you carry the same love. Who you loved in antiquity is who you love in this new age of Aquarius. You carry that bond of love. You never break that bond of love. That's mama love. She's mama universe. She's the mama of us all. She loves us, but she's too omniscient to come down here and take care of her children, her family at ground level. So then she sent in her vessels, the daughter component, the earth. It's not mother earth, it's daughter earth, mama universe and daughter earth. All souls come in through mama universe, manifested and materialized through daughter earth, a reflection of mama universe. We're the manifested form of mama universe, you see. So she sent in her vessels to fall from the highest to the lowest, to bring mama's love, her water, down to ground level. And the lowest, the higher you fell, the lower you fall, you see. And then you bring that love down with you, you transform that love, Scorpio energy, to bring it back full spiral to a higher level, you see. The only way to, if you're at the highest level spiritually, the only way to take it to an even higher level is you have to regenerate the energy. That means you have to fall even lower than you were high, so you can bring it back full spiral to a higher level, full circle, spirit is spiral, you see. So that is how it gets transformed from the lowest, mama's love, bringing it back full spiral, back up to the highest again, full spiral, where you complete that another vortex, open up to another level, you see. So this is an infinite process. So
I see. And then you just said the number 8.
The daughter, she's value, she's healing, and she's character. But her highest vibration, the daughter, the earth, her highest vibration is security. Earth and water are internal. Earth is your security, water is your emotional happiness. That's too big of a burden to put on anyone's shoulders outside of yourself. Energy moves inside out. So if you're sending it out in the security of mama's love, you see, that's how it transmutes into air and fire, or spiritual empowerment, you see. So from the earth and water internal to the external air and fire. where it translates to spiritual empowerment. So
I see.
yeah.
There's a lot of great questions in the chat. I'm trying to keep up with them. The goddess from the Phoenix Circle, Abiki Rue, which she's supposed to be here tonight. I don't know why she's sending messages, questions. She said, "So do we live all the zodiacs through reincarnation?"
It
That was beautiful.
Everybody don't reincarnate the same. Some people might come back under one zodiac sign, just because they so entrenched in that character of energy of that sign. So they'll only come back as that. But then you have people that will come back in successive lifetimes under different star signs. Right. So I told you they know where we was gonna be born at because they know where we died at. And they was keeping track, but we wasn't.
Yes.
So when the Chiefs was born, we didn't know how to protect them properly because we didn't know where they was coming back like we used to in times of old.
Yes. Yes.
That was an amazing question.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, like he said, we're all on a different rate. We're all on a different cycle, and it depends on what you learn in your past life, and whether you have to repeat it or whether, like he said, you coming back to special work in that energy, particularly. But everybody, is going to evolve at a different rate. But no more reincarnation now, though, because once we get into the Aquarian age, it's time for evolution. We've already balanced on enough levels for our evolution. So we've been reincarnating, but now we've been the physical vessels of sacrifice and struggle, not just this lifetime, but through many lifetimes. But now all your sacrifices and struggles and all your past life are being tallied up as to your investment in what's now getting ready to pay off an opposite spiritual return and spiritual reward and spiritual empowerment. So we just completed the half where we've been the vessels of sacrifice and struggle, you see. So now is no more reincarnation. Now it's balance. Now we balance with the spiritual half. We went to the maximum of physical degradation, because as much as you maximize the negative polarity, the physical struggle and sacrifice is as much as it's going to reflect in equal measure on the spiritual return and spiritual reward. I tell my clients, hang on by your toenails. When you're struggling, hang on by your toenails, because to the extent that you endure the struggle is going to be to the same extent that you bring back the reward in equal measure and equal balance. You see.
Fire. Pressure make diamonds.
Yes. Alchemy, like we was talking about earlier. This is all an alchemy. I'm Capricorn. I call myself the quintessential Cinderella. You see, break down the word cinder, carbon, black, L, divinity, La, feminine, the black divine feminine, the servant girl who marries the prince and becomes the queen, from the bottom to the top. That's what Cinderella means. The Capricorn energy, and you have all the energy in you. And wherever your Capricorn is at is where you've been rejected in your value, being of the highest value, because Earth is value. Capricorn is the last Earth sign. It's the last cardinal sign. So the princess of the royal family. So wherever your Capricorn is at is where you've been rejected in your value, and
Capricorn ought to be all over everything I am then.
Find your Capricorn, and that's where you've been rejected in your value, because Capricorn is the energy of character, because its planetary ruler is Saturn, the lord of karma. So everybody else can run up that mountain, and Capricorn, the mountain goat, has to climb up surefoot and steady, because the minute she abuses her integrity, her planetary ruler, Father Saturn, will immediately chastise her, while others are running up that mountain. But she has to go up surefoot and steady. By the time she gets to the top, the others are falling down. She's built a proper foundation to stay up there for good. As the high priestess, she sits at the top of the astrological cycle, like the 12 o'clock hand. Capricorn, daughter Earth, and Sagittarius, a SARS energy. Asar was the one, that's the combination of the fire signs. When you're doing a spiritual rotation, you're going to reverse the rotation. So when we look at fire, rather than go Aries, Leo, and Sag, you start with Leo. And that's the resurrection of the sun, because the planetary ruler of Leo is the sun. And that's resurrection of the sun into Aries, or Haru's energy, Mars energy. Mars is where you come to the full 360 degrees of your personal power. It's the most personal sign of the zodiac. And the reason it's your personal 360 degrees of personal power is because its opposite sign is Libra. And everybody gets into balance with their spirit through Libra. So Aries is the one mostly in balance with their spirit because its opposite sign is Libra. So that's where you come to your full 360 degrees of personal power and step up as Haru. And then the Harus all come together in Sagittarius, where you come to, like I said, the planetary ruler is Jupiter. Whatever Jupiter touches, abundance. So now you got all the resurrection of the sun, all the Harus and their 360 degrees of personal power, all coming together in Sagittarius, which equates to Asar. Asar had to be cut down into 14 pieces, because 14 cycles of time by Father's Spirit, righteous Father's Spirit, the Father of righteous thinking, the air element. He had to cut Osar down because the only sin there is in the spiritual reality is the abuse of power. So in order to keep Asar from abusing his power, he had to be cut down into 14 cycles of time in order to mature in how to use his powers righteously without abusing them. The last piece was the penis, the power of collective resurrection into the abundance of power. So that's where Sagittarius, the ultimate sun, comes into balance with Capricorn, the ultimate daughter of character, at the winter solstice. That's where we get the culmination. We have 3 levels of this couple energy, son and daughter, starting with Aries and Taurus. That's the first couple. Then we go to Leo and Virgo. That's the second couple. And then the ultimate is Sagittarius and Capricorn, the daughter and the son. And that's where it culminates, where Asar puts on his penis, his 14th piece, resurrects into his collective full abundance of power, redeems the daughter, lift her up, the fallen daughter who's been rejected in her value. Then he redeems her and lifts her up. And that's how this all comes to a culmination. And the Star of David, when they had on 2003, when the planets were all sitting in the configuration of the Star of David, sitting on its side, so you can see the 3 levels of the 6-pointed star. This told this story. The levels, how we were wounded. On the bottom level of the 6th, you had the Taurus, the moon in Taurus, which was the mama. You had the father in Cancer, Saturn in Cancer, which was the father. And what happened is they cut off the father who was supposed to protect the mama. Then she became compromised in her value. And then she sent to the second level of that 6-pointed star to the sister, which was Jupiter in Virgo. Now, Virgo is cleansing, purification, and healing. But in her wounding and in Jupiter, that means she became polluted in her value. She became polluted in her value when it came to materialism, the sister with Jupiter. And then across from her was Mars in Pisces. Mars is the brother. And Pisces is the sign of escapism. So escaping into fantasy land, drugs, alcohol, other women. And so in Pisces. And then they sent the energy to the top level. And of course, on November the 8th, this was on November the 8th, 2003, of course, the sun was in Scorpio, you see. And the daughter was Chiron in Capricorn, the wounded healer. And so it showed how we were wounded, how they sent that energy up and we were wounded, but they also told us how we will be healed so we could step up as the new rulers for the new Aquarian age, which opened up in 2013. This happened in 2003. And so I asked my spirit, I said, why the Star of David? And it took me back to the David and Goliath story. How did David slay Goliath? With a stone, Taurus energy, the first earth sign. And the mama, she comes back to her value. And on that day, there was a full lunar eclipse, which was symbolic of the slingshot. You know, David and the stone of value, the slingshot, the lunar eclipse. So when the mama comes back to her value, she passes the stone of value to the sun, Scorpio, the opposite energy. That activates his transformation. He resurrects into righteous father's spirit in Cancer, and then he's the one who redeems the daughter in Capricorn, opposite signs. So and that's when my spirit said, what is the opposite energy of Black woman? What's the opposite energy of Black woman? Tell
Black
me.
man. Black man.
Try again. What's the opposite of black?
They can say white.
Give me the literal meaning. I don't want to get all
White.
that.
White. Yep. White.
White. So white man, right? Opposite energy of Black woman is white man.
Gotcha.
Okay? And in order for him to be up, she has to be down. So how do you take him down? You simply lift her up. He automatically goes down. This is how Goliath slays the giant lie. How David slayed the giant lie, Goliath. And that was Scorpio playing the role of David, you see, getting the stone of value from the mama Taurus, the moon, you see. And that's how they explain the Star of David, you know, to me. So that's why I've been telling, and even in this past Super Bowl, they dealt with Taurus and Scorpio again. Kansas City played Taurus and Philadelphia played Scorpio. And Scorpio won, okay? Philadelphia won. It's transforming the laws. It's transforming the laws. That's what this was about, you know, the original people, which is Taurus, Aries and Taurus, the original son and the original daughter. The first, you know, manifested son and daughter, and through Aries and Taurus, you know, that first couple, you see. And then Leo and Virgo is the turning point where everything turns. That's where, you know, you flip the script through Leo and Virgo. And then, you know, then that takes you to the ultimate Sagittarius and Capricorn, the culmination and the fulfillment of all of that. You see.
So you started with Saturn, and I always like to remind people behind every great man, Mr. Saturn, is a great woman, Miss Lilith.
Yes, absolutely.
Remember, the Lilith is the no nonsense big sister that ain't buying it. She not finna be second fiddle to damn ninja.
Yeah, that's right. She wasn't taking it, you know, submissive role.
Before she give her energy to a less than worthy man, she'll go give it back to her father, Jupiter.
Yes. Wow.
Right. So it's energetically the story of Osiris that you was going through. Remember, they found 13 pieces. That's the Queen Mother's seal number.
Yes, yes.
That's why they tell us it's the bad luck number.
Yeah.
And right. So she have to fabricate his 14th part.
Yes, 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 yes.
Right. So there's telling you in the holy drama about the making of man in the holy drama and about the redemption of the father, because the essence from the father she absorbs through the makeshift phallus, and she take his essence and produce the son.
Yes.
The tip off the old block, so to speak.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So Heru, the son, his life mission is to rise to become his father by proxy.
Yes.
Right. And the reason when you get the 13, Isis with the 13, because she's sitting on the sacerdotal seat. So she has the big mama right to go to prime creator and say, hey, we're going to put this one in charge because he's going to be the most balanced.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yes.
But she needed help from her sister, Nephthys.
Yes.
Right. Because it takes two women to be the twin pillars.
Yes.
Severity and mercy.
Yes.
right? So it's the passing of the bloodline from one side of the family to the other side, which is also the passing of the birthright,
Yes, yes, yes.
right? The big sister, Het Heru, is the first heir, but the most worthy son is the ruler heir,
Yes, 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 yes.
right? So he has to develop himself following the fool's journey to the hero's journey,
Yes.
going from being the peasant to the emperor,
Yes.
right? And going through each one of the pip cards, through the court cards, through the major arcana, which shows your walk through life. The pip card is symbolic of the people in your everyday life. The royal court is the leadership of the land, and the major arcana, those are the spiritual influences over the rest.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right.
When I used to read the tarot deck, I didn't do the minor arcana. I only did the court cards and the major arcanas. That's the only ones I would use. You know, just got the spiritual and the, like you said, the heroes.
Yeah.
So got this. Oh, go ahead, G.
Yeah. So most people on their journey stop when they get to be a king or a queen. Others don't stop till they get to be an emperor or a high priest,
empress
and a high priestess. Yeah. So it's your grit, your internal drive to become the best you can be is going to determine how far up the chain you're going to travel from the fool to the hero.
Yes.
In your final hero story, you just sat on all 4 thrones of the king and all 4 thrones of the queen. That's still not enough.
Yes.
You still got more inner work to do. And as you do more inner work, now you ain't just focused on sitting on a king or a queen, you sitting on an empire.
Yes.
But when you get to the point where you can see the spiritual aspect, not only are you able to sit on the empire, but you're able to also administer priestly duties to the earth.
Yes. Yes.
The high priest, high priestess. So it's all the same story told in the holy drama, and you can pull out bits and pieces and see where they fit.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And
that's
behind every
level, you see, you're going to see a different face at a different level of that same line of energy. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you see the every great woman, every great man, there's a great woman. When you see that play out with Jupiter and Lilith, you also see it playing out with Isis and Osiris.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You also see it playing out with Isis and her son Horus, because she's now building that stone into the master work of the master builder. Everybody think that the man is the master builder. No. The woman is the master builder. She's the only one that can build the vessel without the aid of the hands of man.
Yes. Yes.
The sacred temple, the Holy of Holies.
Yes.
And she's going to send him out to do the great arcana, the great work.
She's the general.
Yeah.
She is the general. And then the masculine is the power, you see, behind the general. But the general is the one who mastermind this, you see. She deals with the subconscious, our ancient memory, our Akashic records, you see. So that earth and water, the internal. And you have it all in you. You have to look at where it falls at. Like I said, where your Capricorn is where you've been rejected in your value. You have to first redeem that value within yourself. And when you redeem the value of where you've been rejected by others, when you redeem that within yourself, that's how you'll send that vibration out. And that's how you draw it back from others. Spirit is spiral. So, but it starts from within. And where you've been rejected, you have to redeem your own value from within. You have to come to your own. I came to an epiphany because I was, I grew up in the 50s and 60s. So, there's a dark-skinned woman, and that just was not, kosher in those days. I mean, this was the days where they were like, if you're white, you're right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're black, get back. That was the saying at that time. So that's why I call myself the quintessential Cinderella. being And I had to be, and it started in my family because I had two sisters, light skin, I'm in the middle, and I was the sacrificial lamb where my baby sister was the golden child. And so I had to break away, because I was like, and see, this is something that was done through the family. So my mom, so when my mom give us this hierarchy, we accept it. Like that's the way it's supposed to be. It wasn't until recently that I was able to look back and see the whole story, as it unfolds, as me playing that Cinderella role where I had to break away, and that's when I went to Atlanta and I started my spiritual path in Atlanta, you see. So, but I had to have an epiphany because, anytime we would go out in public, they'd run up to my baby sister and go, "Oh, isn't she pretty? She's just so pretty." And then they look at me and go, "Oh, well, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice," you see. And my baby sister wasn't really prettier than me. She was just more light-skinned than me. In those days, that was just the premium. And so it gave me a lot of turmoil, and a lot of agitation until one day I had this epiphany and I said, well, you know what? I like my color. If they don't like it, that's their problem. And from this day forward, I'm never going to let anyone make me feel bad about who I am based on their opinion of me. And I've walked with my head up ever since. And they used me as a model. When I first started doing my lecture circuit, I was living on the East Coast. So I lectured circuit from New York to Florida. And everywhere I would go, the light-skinned mamas would bring their dark-skinned daughters to me so they could identify with a dark-skinned woman secure in her value and in her beauty. So they can identify with that because that's not.
So we can identify to the matriarch. I met you when you came down to Orlando at the Kingdom. Yeah. So it's not just it's most definitely. I understand the whole story now. You're most definitely Cinderella. I say.
Oh yeah.
The irony of that.
Which say, Chief?
The irony of that is that if she didn't grow up with the conflict she had, she wouldn't be who she is today.
You're exactly right. When I first moved to Atlanta, I didn't know anybody. They shut off my phone. They shut off my car. So I said, well, I might as well go get in the bathtub. That was my spirit trying to take me on a soul's journey. So when I got in that bathtub of water, my spirit started talking to me and said, well, you know what? You never got angry. You never felt angry, hurt, or, by your relationship with your mom. But you need to do that. You need to express that. You need to express the hate, the hurt, the anger, and the pain. So I sat there. My mom passed away in 1983. And my father passed in 1973. So I went to Atlanta in 1987. So I had to speak to my mom's spirit. So I expressed my pain, my hurt, and my anger. And after I did that, they said, now you can heal. They said, it hurt your higher mama very much to do that to you. But it had to be done in order for you to become who you needed to be. Is how they put it. So you're absolutely right. That's exactly what my spirit told me. I had to go through that so I could become who I needed to be. Alchemy.
Person made diamonds, making gold. We're gonna get back to that gold later on. Let me catch this because this Water Falcon, he's our chief ambassador in Africa, South Africa right now.
Yes.
He said, what would you say about the relationships of ancient tribes and families or clans between the lands of the Mu, or the earth, or the planet? The Khoi San and San tribes of Anzina. I'm sorry.
Tanzania, which is South Africa.
South Africa. Look, are tapped in.
I be telling people this, and it's like they keep missing the part. When I say we not from Africa, it's not a knock to Africans.
Right.
Okay.
But I also tell them that before Columbus was born, for thousands of years, our royal families of the Americas have been mixing with the royal families of Africa to diversify the blood. That's why everybody come over here with their genetic defects to get our blood in their land to heal the effects. This is your one drop of blood doctrine, right? So we didn't have a problem tribe to tribe with anybody on earth. We did business with Asian tribes on the West Coast, with African tribes on the East Coast, with European tribes even. We did trade with tribes in Australia off the southern tip of South America and New Zealand, right? So we was always in tune with the pulse of all of the natural tribes.
Yes.
When the colonization come in, they erasing and burning the history as they taking over and inserting a rewrite of the history to make us think that we was isolated and separated from the rest of the peoples of the world. Just like we know what's going on with Ibrahim Traore, they know what's going on in Africa with Rod Hayes and Myra Moss.
Yes, yes.
Right? Because they know we walk in a similar journey, but because the land masses is different, our struggle don't look the same on the surface,
Right.
but behind the cause and the catalyst to the struggle is exactly the same.
Yes. I always say that North and South America and Africa were once united. You know, got this from Dr. Ondo, African, what is it?
Historian?
Okay. Yeah. Well, he was the study herbs and because he took us into the middle of the woods and told us the medicinal and herbal properties of the plants. Yes.
Yeah, he was an herbalist or a naturopath.
Yeah, yeah. And he told us that they used to be together. He said the same plants that you find on the East Coast of America is the same plants you'll find in Africa. That you can see how they used to fit together. And then it was when Atlantis fell. Yeah, they split apart, you see. So it's like we're cousins, you see. It's like we're cousins when it comes to our connection in antiquity. So it's no slight, but we were already here. That's the biggest secret, is they want to keep us from understanding that we were already on this land. They invaded us, and they didn't bring us from Africa. It was the biggest genocide. And I got this from studying the Super Bowls. I do the symbolism of the Super Bowl. That's where I get information. And then where they had the Super Bowl, where they had, let's see, they had, the Kansas City Chiefs playing against San Francisco 49ers. So I had to look up the symbolism of the 49ers. And 1849 was the gold rush. And that's when they discovered the gold, and they put it out to the rest of the world to come pan the gold in San Francisco. And the government of this United States gave permission to all the people to come and pan the gold and kill off the Indians.
Now, mind you, at this time, they did not have control or right or jurisdictional authority to send anybody west of the Appalachian Mountains. They did it arbitrarily against the will of the tribes of the land.
Yes, like they're doing now, arbitrary laws now. And when they, so that was the biggest genocide, okay? And the whole world participated in that genocide. And in order to cover it up, they stole our land, they stole our treasures, but most of all, they stole our identity, you see. Because they took the children and they put them in these indoctrination schools, you see, made them forget who they were, hold on to our ancestry, our history. So that was the biggest genocide, and they covered it up by stealing our identity, making us think that, we were brought in from Africa as slaves, but that's not true.
And the part of that we missed is that at the same time, they teaching us how to be a Europeanized version of the members over here. They's teaching the Mongolians how to perform our rituals and dances in the boarding schools.
Yes.
In the Indian training schools, they were training them how to be us.
Yes, absolutely.
But they don't want us to know that part.
No, they don't.
they show you the imagery, but they don't tell you the backstory.
Yes, yes. There's this guy named Kiramio. He gets into who we are in our antiquity on the Americas. He says the Americas is the most ancient of land, and he you know, and he talked about how well, one of the things he said, he told about how there's this ancient mural in Germany in one of their cathedrals where they're only dealing with they deal with Africa, they deal with Europe, Asia, and America. And on this mural, and they show you the symbols of, you know, the people of these lands. And when it came to the Americas, you know, it was Indians. It was Black Indians. They showed the feathers. They showed the fringes. We're back to the feathers again. They showed the fringes, all the things that apply to the Indians, but Black Indians. They said the Indians in America were even more dark skinned than, you know, the Africans in Africa. So this was
that old Mississippi and root blood stock.
I got it. So
Not only was they darker, they was bigger.
Yes, the Amazons. This was where the Amazons were. California, you know, Cali. These were the Amazons. This is where the Amazons actually stem from.
Yeah, California's castle used to be where Alcatraz at.
Wow.
The Disney castle is the replica that they have to keep in the public domain, so one of us can say what was originally at Alcatraz.
Yes, yes.
The
yes.
Spanish Armada bombed it into rubble, and they show it in the Wonder Woman movie when they get attacked by the Americans.
Yes, yes.
Right,
yes.
and they start blowing up Wonder Woman. It was not just, it was a women's retreat. It was like a goddess training camp.
Yes, yes.
And all of the tribes participated. They sent women there to go be trained on character, on basic royal women standard issues. So you have to have somebody show you what to do as an emperor if you're gonna be an emperor.
Yes.
So you go to all the other emperors and you be their understudy until you're capable of being your own emperor.
Yes.
Well, these women that would go with the Caliphs, there was 5 women that was the leadership. And that's why the 5 bears is synonymous with the California territory, because each one of them appoints a protectorate chief male as the bear on the mainland.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
when they go to the island, they leave the bears on the mainland because we had never been attacked from sea before. We normally had infighting on the land, across the land with each other, but it didn't normally end up into bloody massacres like it do now.
Yes, yes, yes.
We have dance offs.
Yeah. So the Califia Castle looked at like the Disney Castle. So they built the Disney Castle as the replica. When the Disney Castle at Disney caught on fire, was the symbol that Big Mama house on fire. That means hurry up, all hands on deck. We got to get the house clean. Big Mama pulling in the driveway.
Yes. Yep. I always say Big Mama been on the Scared Straight program. She said, my family don't appreciate me, so I'm going to step back, leave under Father's domain. He's the disciplinarian, the mental disciplinarian. I'm going to leave him under Father's domain just for they can see what it's like to be without me. But they got more abusive than she anticipated. So now she's coming back. You know, it's time for her to come back off of that Scared Straight program, and she's highly pissed off. She's ready to come and F some stuff up. So that's where we're hopping the fence to. And we're going to see the evidence as we get into that Scorpio. And we get into Scorpio tomorrow. So that's where we're going to see this stuff intensify and go to the extremes, especially when it comes to the fall, you know, the transformation, the death of the old. That's what we're seeing. The stuff is falling You know, the old is falling. It's for a rebirth of the new, where we're going to now get on that higher vibration. And I always say the four characteristics, like the earth is character, the air is righteous thinking, the fire is the passion to protect righteousness, and then the air is righteousness, righteous thinking. What did I leave? Water, love, and compassion. So those are the four highest characteristics of those four members of that highest vibration of that family energy. And as high as you can take your vibration to those four characteristics, character, love, righteousness, and the passion to protect righteousness, is as high as you can bring it back. Spirit is spiral. So as high as you can take it up to those high vibrations is as high as you will receive it back in return. You see, so that's what we're stepping up to now. We're stepping. I talked about how the micro was where we in Alabama 2 years ago in August. Remember at the harbor? You guys remember at the harbor with the chair?
Alabama.
Yeah. That's a micro of what we're stepping up to as a macro, where we become the spirits of our ancestors. You see.
You remember when the guy threw the hat up, right?
Huh?
The guy threw the hat up in the air.
Yes, the guy threw the hat up in the air, and that was
the treaty of the hat.
Yes, that was the one that kicked it off when he threw that hat in the air, and that's where the spirits of our ancestors came and took those vessels, those bodies, those vessels, because this is a spiritual warfare, you see. So they took those vessels. We are the physical vessels for the spirits of our ancestors. So what we saw was a micro as to what we're stepping up to. Now all we got to do is step up to our ancestors and ask, you know, which one of you guys, I want to create the finest music tonight. Which of my ancestors mastered in that creative power? Channel that vibration to me and let me manifest to that ground level. That's how we're going to harmonize between the three realms, you see. So that's what we're stepping up to, being able to harmonize between our ancient ancestors in the soul realm, our spiritual ancestors in the spirit realm, and us, the physical vessels, are the boots on the ground who can manifest that energy at ground level. So harmonize energy. Don't blend energy, you harmonize energy.
So when he flicked his hat up,
yes,
it was a reminder to investigate the treaty of the hat.
Wow. See, the information just keeps expanding.
Yeah, it's so much going on in the comment section and questions. Like, and I know we're pushing 1:30 now, so if y'all wanted to, because it's so many amazing questions, and each one of them, like people, like each one teach one, and y'all bringing them out tonight. So, let me start. It's a lot, man. This brother or God, they said, how do we keep our hearts light as a feather, especially in this time of high energy, broken spells, and spiritual restoration? I believe.
I always say you have to be, now is the time to get into partnership with your spirit. Hey, you know, it's not just lip service. You have to be in an equal partnership with your spirit. We've done our half. You don't blend energy. We've completed as the vessels of sacrifice and struggle. We've completed that half. Now it's time to pass the baton to your spiritual half, who can take, because we're entering a spiritual reality. So now we need our spiritual partner to guide us there. It's going to be the one that positions us through symbolism. It's going to guide us and position us, you know, to step up holistic. When we get into balance with our spirit, that's the first spiral you complete. And that opens up a vortex for you to have access to the next level energy vibration. But it starts with your own partnership with your own spirit, and let your spirit now take the lead, because it can look around corners we can't. It has a broader view. So start listening to your spirit, start being in equal partnership. Let your, you know, you can't, two opposites can't occupy the same space at the same time. One has to give way to the other. So when you put it into your hands, you tie spirit's hands, and vice versa. You know, if you let go, then spirit moves forward. When you move back, your spirit moves forward. So now we have to, and your opposite sign is going to be your spiritual energy. You see, I'm Capricorn. I just listed them, the 6 axes of energy. I'm Capricorn, so my opposite sign is Cancer. So now I'll let my Cancer take the lead. You see, and your spirit is going to be the one who reaches you. You know, nobody can reach you better than your spirit. Your spirit been with you through many lifetimes, you know, guiding you on this soul's journey. That's what we've been on, a soul's journey. But we had to hit the negative and positive polarity. That's the only way energy unfolds. So the negative polarity is the sacrifice and struggle, sacrifice and reward, negative and positive. Sacrifice, we've been to sacrifice and we've completed that. We're done with that. Okay. Now it's time for the spiritual half. Now your spirit is going to be the one to give you the training and how it's now stepping you up to a new level. And it's going to do it through symbolism. It's going to teach you new lessons of symbolism and how it guides you. I saw somebody said in the chat, we're not black, we're brown. If we keep literally thinking, if we're thinking in the left brain, we're never going to see this.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a conceptual thing. Okay, it's not literal. And if you're going to nitpick every literal detail, I keep telling people, I'm trying to explain the beach on the sand on the beach, and y'all want to look at every little grain of sand. You know,
that was my apologies.
A little grain of sand when it's a bigger purpose, and if you're still focused so narrowly, you know, it's not that we're saying we're not literally looking at our color. We're looking at an experience. We're looking at, you know, going through. It's just the color. The black just identifies an experience. You know, spirit is going to always move in opposites. So black and white, you know, dark and light, physical, spiritual, you know, and you got many range of levels between that. So, you know, they fuss at about, oh, she's using the Gregorian calendar. I'm like, if we are the gods, we're going to create from what we perceive. Okay. And if I perceive whatever I perceive, no matter what calendar I'm looking at, you know, I'm going to create from that reality. I'm the one creating the reality. And if what I perceive for whatever calendar I'm looking at is how I'm going to create. I tell people, I said, the more bizarre you get the message, the more you know it's coming from your spirit. Your spirit is trying to adapt you to an opposite reality. It's going to seem bizarre. It's going to seem crazy. You know, I said, you could be riding down the street with a question on your mind and a billboard pops up and answers it. That's spirit. You might wake up in the middle of the night, immediately look at the clock, get a numerology message, get up that morning, get in your car, drive down the street, and a car pulls in front of you with those same numbers on its license plate. That's when spirit is pulling your coattail. But does it concern you whether or not the car is a Chevy or a Ford? Come on. You're missing the whole point. If you so wrapped up in, well, I think it was a Chevy. No, I think it was a Ford. You're not seeing the bigger point that's being made here. And that's going to include everything. That's going to include black, brown, you know, whatever. You know, however you perceive what it means, and then you energize that into your reality. You do that through your imagination. So we got to come out of this left brain. We got to stop nitpicking every single little detail. We will get nowhere. It's time to look at the bigger picture. We're hopping the fence. The Father, the air element, he's the one that dissects pieces of information for understanding. Okay, now we're going to Mama, the water that flows. You know, you're not nitpicking every detail, you know, for understanding. We now know everything we need to know. Your spirit then brought you everything you need to know right now. That's why this happens in the Aquarian age, the age of I know. That means we've reached the maximum of what we need to know. Now it's time to utilize that knowledge, to walk in that knowledge. We done now learned everything we need to know. Now it's time to work what we know. And that means bringing all you know, as pieces and connect it to the collective, or, you know, like I said, spirit is collective. We're the individual, physical, and then it connects to the collective, larger, universal whole, holistic, you see. If it's not whole, it's not real. Anytime you look at it as a whole, that's the illusion. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So some practical applications dealing with the question that she started off answering was, How do you keep your heart light as a feather? This is simple, but it's practical. You can do it. Anything that is going to make you resentful or angry, avoid.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything going to make your heart glow, you're going to be smiling, happy. Do more of that,
Yes. Yes.
right?
And the
And
security.
yeah,
Being
so
secure.
this is actual things you can feel as you do them,
Yes.
right? If you don't want to do something, don't feel bad because you said no. No is a superpower.
Yes. Yes.
When you take that power back, it empowers you because you took the power inwardly,
Yes.
right? You take the inner power to empower,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you changing how you respond to the outside world by protecting your peace. At the same time, you keep the gratitude because that keeps the reciprocal channel open and keep you from having blocked energy.
Absolutely.
So if it's something that you're willing to do and you can do it and it's not gonna irritate you, do it.
Yes.
That
Yes.
means that you're supposed to do that. But if it's something that's you don't know how to do and it'll vex you to even try to figure it out, you better hire somebody before you do it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So these little things is applicable in the day to day to try to help you keep your heart as light as a feather. As
Yes.
long as you're not inserting yourself into other people bullshit, you'll find out that you got so much peace in your life you don't know what to do with it all.
Yes. And that security from within, earth and water. You have to be secure from within in your own value and self-worth. That is why you have to redeem your own value from within. That is when you send that vibration out. And as much as you're dealing in the security in your value, and I'm talking about a larger scheme of things. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way around. So when you're secure in a larger universal purpose being fulfilled, there's a bigger purpose. All we're seeing is the individual aspects of that. You see, and when you're secure that there's a larger universal purpose being fulfilled, and it's all about our evolution from a corrupted abuse of power to a righteous humanitarian empowerment, in this bigger process, then, nothing should get you upset or angry or bring you down. Showing your security is showing your trust in a higher power, in a higher reality that's really coming into fruition. We just haven't been able to see it yet, but this is where we got to know. We got to know there's a bigger purpose being fulfilled, and we're just the individual aspects of that, you see. So when you're secure in that knowing, you see, then that is how you make your heart as light as a feather. Nobody has the power to upset you. I used to tell my sons, I had two sons, one transitioned in 2013, my oldest one, the Virgo. But I used to tell my two sons, my youngest Aquarius, I used to tell them when I raised them, I would say, if somebody was to call you an apple, would that upset you? They look at me all crazy, like, an apple? No, why should that upset me? I'm like, because you're secure within yourself. You're not an apple. You know damn well you're not an apple. That's ridiculous. Anybody who would see you as an apple must be something wrong with their perspective. But that should be true of anything anybody says about you. You know it's not true about yourself. It's tantamount to them calling you an apple. It's ridiculous. You can't let that won't upset you. That won't upset you when you know who you are, and somebody who don't know who you are is trying to tell you you're not who you are. You wave that off. That's not something you get upset about. So your security in your own value and self-worth, that is what keeps you on the right track. And knowing you're part of a bigger purpose, a universal purpose being fulfilled. And that will keep you from getting upset, angry, or getting overwhelmed, or getting scared. Doubts, fears, and guilt. Three things that lower our vibration. Doubts, fears, and guilt. Stay out.
The emotional attachment to being called by a term that's an X on them in the first place.
Yes.
As long as when you do that, you take sides in the fight.
Yes.
You take sides. As long as you don't take sides, you can watch people express their ideas using terminologies that we don't This generation don't use them, but our generation did, and the one before us used certain terminologies. Some of the elders' terminologies haven't advanced with the youth because we disconnected from the youth.
Yes.
So when the youth talking, we don't know what they're talking about. And when the elders talking, the youth don't know. So we need a medium between the two.
Yes.
So you got to understand these terms are used to inflame you emotionally in a negative fashion so they can siphon the loose energy that your flight or fight response to it causes.
Yes. Yes.
When you use the fuck it key, right?
Yes.
You don't take sides because that argument is dumb to me. I'm not participating. Fuck it.
Yes. Yes.
Whoever we in the argument, we in the argument. I'm not in it.
Right.
Right. So when we start seeing it like that, if you somebody like I be on, somebody be saying, be referring to us as African Americans. I don't correct them.
Right.
They might refer to us as black. I don't correct them.
Right.
Right. Because I understand where they at mentally. Everybody ain't coming from the same tribe, but they understand the same problem.
Right.
One tribe is going to explain it one way.
Yes.
Another tribe is going to explain it another way. It don't mean either one of them wrong.
That's right. That's not.
And it don't mean either one of them right.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So don't take sides in the argument. Then you get to see the whole argument and why it's there to begin with.
Yes.
Right. I tell them that the reason why black is referred to us is they the defenders on the chessboard.
Yes.
That means that we ain't the ones started this BS, but we the ones defending against it.
Right. It's a symbolism. You can't be literal in looking at this. It's symbolism.
And we use the stealth priests of the tribes, the black wolf, the black panther, the black eagle, the black hawk.
Yes.
You know, and the list goes on and on, but we use in the priesthood, the stealth priests always wore the black guard.
Yes.
They not the one, they not gonna be the one in the middle of the town circle dancing with all of the people from the village.
Right.
That's not that chief.
Yes.
He's the shaman. He probably live in a yurt off the edge of the village. And people come to him for advice, but when it's time to go to war, that gardener that's been doing gardening for the last 50 years was using gardening to train for war.
Yes.
So now he finna come out and implement a little bit of raking and a little bit of hoeing in order to get the weeds out the garden. He's in stealth mode. If you look at a stealth bomber, what color is it? Black.
Black. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's what they talking about.
Yes.
These are the same ones that's defending us from the status of civilly mortis from the crash of the good ship Plymouth, commemorated by the Plymouth Rock. But you just got to remember, Plymouth Rock landed on us. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock, says Malcolm L. Hodgkin, Miguel Shabazz. Right. So we defending ourselves against them attackers that came from across the water.
Absolutely.
We taking on the position of black on the chessboard. They taking on the position of free white persons in law.
Right. You know,
they slave catchers, we liberators.
Yes. And Black Mama Universe. That's the melanin. That's indicating the melanin context, content. You know, melanin is energy so dense before it crosses over into manifestation and materialization. The density of energy, which is why they call the black holes. That's why light, can't penetrate the black holes. That's a dense energy and its densest form. That's the black mama. So everything started with Black Mama Universe. That's why our ancestors came out as the original rulers. So it's not about just the literal color black. It's a term that is used, and then plus when we speak to a group of people, we have to meet them where they can identify and then build them up, you see. So I'm not going to just say, well, we're the dense energy of the universe. You know, when you use the term black, that just encompasses so much in its meaning. That's why symbolism is so important, because one symbol can have 1,000 concepts, you see. And that's the type of language your spirit is going to use to guide you. But if you're still stuck on every little detail, you know, before you can move forward, you know, that's been done. That's over with. That half is over with. Now it's time for us to go to a conceptual half. I tell people, where most people can't see the forest for the trees, I can't see the trees for the forest, because I see the bigger picture. Then I put the individual aspects in line. It's the one and all in the all in one. Your reality is no more wrong or right than anyone else's. We all master on our soul's journey as guided by our spirit to bring that mastery to the table and contribution to the whole. The one and all in one. That is why we don't blend energy. That is why we harmonize, because everybody has a unique role. I've always do the example of a hand. Like a hoe. You have a hand as a hoe. You have a little finger, index, middle, ring, thumb, palm, back of the hands, the fingernails. These are all unique components coming together to make a hand or a hoe. They all have a unique role and contribution to that hand. If we all blended into thumbs, we wouldn't get a lot done. So everybody has their own reality. You know, yours is no more wrong or right. So challenging people from, you know, stating their reality as it's given to them, you know, then, you're missing the point, you see.
Okay. Dr. Double Blair say, nothing is truth until you say it is.
Yes.
Yo, on this obsidian screen, the mirror is obsidian, and a lot of times this is psyops that they're trying to use it to fight their battles, and like they're trying to play chess the same way they're playing chess the same way we should be playing chess, and they're trying to trick us out our spot. Long story short, they trying to play on our they're putting we know what crisis actors are. We know that these people they're saying the people they're saying is doing crazy stuff. They sent them to do the crazy stuff. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
So yeah,
divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer.
Yes.
So definitely thank y'all, both of y'all, for saying that. Water Serpent said, I'm sorry, Water Falcon said, what is the symbolic connection between the griffin and the Sphinx, Calithia, and Queen Mu?
I'm not. Go ahead, brother. Right.
So when you see the Sphinx, it's the lion with the eagle's wings, right? The bull hind end, and it was a woman's head.
I see.
Right. They tell us it was one of the Caffrey. They wasn't even around when the Sphinx was built. They wasn't even born.
Right.
Like that, the first dynasty hadn't even established when the Sphinx was put there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But
yes.
the difference in Sphinx and Griffin is the mode that it's in. A Sphinx is always going to be on the ground, either seated or lying down. But a griffin is going to always be symbolically flying, wings spread, with the eagle's head. It's a comparative analysis between that which roams the earth, the lion head, and that which roams the airwaves with the eagle head.
Yes.
Right? And it's a whole lot of symbolism that goes between the translation of the chimera that's telling a whole story each by itself. Right?
Yes.
The Califia queens is long after Queen Mu. Queen Mu was the queen of Lemuria. And Lemuria was one of the Atlantean major metropolis sites, which we call in today Antarctica. They used to call it Tartarus. And it was always cooler than the rest of the earth, and it has the coldest desert in the world. Right? And it's still a desert. And so when Queen Mu was here, she was sitting on what we call the secondary sacerdotal seat, because the primary sacerdotal seat was in the Americas at the Temple of Isis. The secondary seat was the temple of Mu and the high priestess of the land, which was the governess of the land. She governed over the land of Mu. Califia come about later on. If you go and look up Heidi of Burbil and Goddess Glow Up, they paths are so similar that it's easy to use her to explain how the Califia queens rose to prominence and power. These Califia queens would teach the daughters of the leaders of the land self-empowerment, seduction techniques, ways of the woman, feng shui, the homemaking, to make her into the perfected version of mother and wife.
Yes.
So once this happened, the husbands, who was the ruler chiefs, this is why it's 5 of them, from 5 different territories, made a treaty to stay out of all of the other tribal conflicts as long as the daughters from the rest of the tribes was participating in the training at the Califia castle, right?
Yes.
So this is why it was all women.
Yes.
The women wasn't naturally lesbians. They was going to learn to maximize their, I call it Oshun potential.
Yes.
They Venus potential, that love goddess.
Yes.
Right? But it also cultivated your leadership skills, organizational skills, and you got so much more to contribute to the relationship than the rest of the women of the land. You become was highly prized among the chieftains, as they would call them, of the land. So when the leaders would search of a wife, they would go to visit with Califia, and she would examine them, their character, their personality type, and then she would pair them with the counterpart that best matches them. So she was not only training the women to be feminine, she was also like the first, like a marriage doula is the only way I can figure out to name it. She overseen the relationships of the royal families, and they kept records of the bloodlines and which tribes. So all of this went into them pairing up royal family members.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And when you see the geisha training originated with the Califia queens. It wasn't to train them for prostitution. It was to train them to be royal consorts to the imperial palace. Right. And the best of the best got picked by the emperor, and then his sons and his nephews and his brothers got to pick the rest.
Yes. Yes.
Right. But they was all trained in the skills of the way of the woman. You see it in India, they call them yoni priestesses. The same science.
Yes. 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 Yes.
But it was given to a different culture, so it had to be written in a format that fit the culture. So they came with the yoni priestess, and the men had what's called a lingam priest. Right? When you learn how to control your sexual appetites, you learn how to be masters of your sexual self, so that when you with a counterpart, the highest spiritual frequency is female orgasm, whether the man experienced it or not. If he can get her to orgasms, he blows his own man.
Right.
Spiritually speaking.
Yes.
Right? So these was the sciences that was being taught with the Califia Castle. She wasn't ruler per se. She was the one that taught the women the politics of the land and how to govern over and rule with a male counterpart, divine masculine.
Yes.
Who's went through his warrior training as well with the chiefs. They turned them into Boy Scouts and started touching on the boys.
I see. Yo.
The further we got away from character, the more perversion we have, you know. And we
that was part of that's part of the war protocol of the invading army, though.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they say if they can defile the prince, he can never be the king.
Yes, yes, yes.
So their goal is to the most potent and potential leaders is to disqualify them from rulership.
Yes, 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 yes. Mm.
And I
Wow.
think if a lot of the guys knew this, they wouldn't be with that down low program they on.
Yeah, it's a lot of things they wouldn't be doing. It's going to have to turn around, you know. But, you know, we've been under a spell. It's been a spell. The spell is broken, you know. The illusion.
Well, they told me not to go into these books and get all the answers out, so I'm giving them to y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. I
The
mean,
books just taught me how to read the universe. I got more answers from there than I did from any book.
yeah,
And I done read hundreds.
yeah. The same year.
They were like, where y'all get your information from? I'm like, these people are elders. What do you think they've been doing all this time? You see what I'm saying?
I read
Your second 20 years gonna be more wise than your first 20 years.
Yeah.
So wisdom, experience of life.
Yeah.
The guy that said, is the Treaty of the Hat affiliated with the Treaty of Hartford in 1638?
Again, that's your territory.
I don't remember which treaty it was, but the Treaty of the Hat was an aid and assist treaty among tribes. We was making treaties long before a colonizer came. Right. So this is why we was able to keep the Califia queens out of all of our bullshit through the treaty process. The difference in the colonizers treating with us and us treating with us is we was people of honor who believed that if we gave our word on something, that heaven and earth would pass away, but my word not gonna change.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now we here encounter some people that believe as long as I put my hand behind my back and cross my fingers, it ain't true.
Right.
I can say what I want to say. We didn't believe that.
Right.
Right. So this is the difference in when we was creating the Iroquois Confederacy, the Washita Confederacy, the Ottawa Confederacy. These was treaties between tribes. We still do it today. We got Larry Hoover and Angel Baby trying to come up with a treaty between Stones and Disciples for fucking 50 years. Ever since Larry been locked up, since when he was in the street.
Right.
But the nature of the people, we so busy thinking that we each other enemy because the system told us that. We forgot that we was the outlaw tribes fighting the system, Rage Against the Machine.
Yes. Yeah, but we're waking up. We definitely are waking up, you know, because the energy is demanding we wake up. I mean, like I said, this past Super Bowl, that halftime, the Kendrick Lamar halftime is about redeeming the value of the woman, you know, lifting her up. That was his halftime performance, and that's an energy vibration that went out globally. And now we're starting to see evidence of that because, you know, our men are now coming to the table and toting the value of their women. You've been seeing a lot of Etta James. They got a commercial with the tomatoes, the ketchup, and it's pouring all slow. And then you have Etta James in the background singing "At Last." So her song "At Last," you know, no more lonely nights. My king has come home, and we're starting to see that with our men now. They're starting to praise, you know, the value of their women. We have to come together as yin and yang. We've been wounded. The women has been wounded in their insecurities, being put at the bottom of the totem pole in their value as Cinderellas. And the men has been wounded in their egos, thinking themselves higher than their women. It's only when we come together in balance that everything is going to click. So, you know, we got to harmonize. We can't, is nobody higher or lower. Like I said, even spiritual and physical. Balance is everything. Spirit needs the vessel just as much as the vessel needs the spirit. The yin and the twin souls individually comes together collectively as yin and yang. And it's when you balance the yin and the yang that's where the evolution, that's where you open up that vortex, you know, the balance between the two halves, where you open up that vortex for evolution to a new level. So we got to come together in balance, equal is yin and yang, you know. So that's the wounds are being healed. you know, bringing men out of their ego, thinking they're higher than their value than their women. And our women have to come out of our insecurities, you know. The Star of David had the mama, Taurus, the moon, coming back to the security of her value. That's where she passes baton to the stone to the sun in Scorpio. So we have to come back to our value. That's the premise of the movie The Matrix, why Trinity was out of the Matrix first. That means she came to the security of her value as a high priestess. And now she set standards and challenged her man to rise to the standards to claim the love of the high priestess. As he rises to the standards for the love of the high priestess, that is his resurrection. He can't come out of the matrix in ego. So that's what resurrects him from his ego and releases him from the matrix. Only then does he see her true value as the high priestess, and he's the one who then redeems her and lifts her up. So the women are the resurrectors by being secure in their value, demanding the standards of their men when it comes to their feeling secure in the value of the love of that man for her. When she's secure in her value, earth and water, value is the earth and the water is the love. When she's secure in her value, we're the ones who anchor the men, air, and fire. Overall, the men are the air and fire in a larger scheme of things, and the women are the earth and water. And what we do is anchor our men in the value of their love. Men are air and fire. Air is fickle. They are in their logic and reason as to what to do with their passions or their power, you see. So their logic and reason. So we have to anchor them in the value of what they feel, you see, rather than, the logic and reason of what they feel, how to use their power in their best interest, you see. So those wounds are being healed. The women coming out of their insecurities, coming to the security of their value, carrying themselves as empresses and high priestesses, and then, if, in order to have a name, you got to have a game, you see. So we have to become secure in our value as a high priestess, walk in those standards, and challenge our men to gain our love by living up to the standards for that love, which is what resurrects him from his ego and then releases him from the matrix. That's what the movie The Matrix is trying to tell you. Women are
we got to always remember, when you look for the matrix, you're going to find it in mitochondria.
Yes.
Yes. The matrix is the movie.
Yes.
Water talking a lot of amazing questions, and I'm sorry for anybody that I'm missing on the question, because I don't want to like focus on the wrong questions. It's not this is amazing to have both of y'all here tonight. So I'm trying to get the best questions. Like I said, the other one, I try to let everybody on here have a voice and get it out. Thank you for addressing that, because some people do be getting mixed up on the lower vibrational questions. But can you talk about a realignment with our ancient calendar system, conceptual versus Gregorian, 13 cycles and beyond?
Look, any calendar you choose to use, you can draw energy for time conservation using that calendar. Once you become aware of who wrote the calendar and what energy they put into the calendar, then you will know if you want to use that calendar or you can make your own. Right?
It's all a matter of perspectives, you guys. Perspectives. That's all.
So when we look at a calendar, like before we was using the Gregorian calendar, we was using the Julian calendar.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The reason why they change the calendar of popular use is, one, they need everybody energy focused on the same cycles at the same time. So they give them a time frame that they lay out to perform rituals.
Yes.
Rituals in turn cause us to generate energy signatures, and they have devices that can tap into the energy signatures. Or they can also use what's called spirit technology, which is the application of egregores and sigils and symbols in order to trap the energy into something that they can then use alchemy to transmutate that same energy from the football game when you had Kendrick performing. Now the mothers can use it because they seen the benefit in realizing that they not like us.
Yes.
They look like us, but they not us.
Yes.
And that the imposter has been exposed.
Yes.
So the egregore of the collective subconscious of the mother, when they see the performance, the egregore get charged up with redemption energy.
Yes.
The
Yes.
system want to use the energy, but it can only use the negative loose.
Yes.
It can't use the gratitude. It can't use the authenticity. It can't use genuineness because none of that is in this realm of control.
Yes.
But we can become all of that in truth.
Yes.
And that's how you establish justice across the land.
Yes, absolutely. Very good. Very good. Absolutely.
Got it.
Gratitude.
It's so many people in the comments that feel the same way I feel about the elders. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our elders didn't get protected. A lot of us weren't protected when we were children or whatever. But the protection's here now. The structure's here now. The transformation of values are here now. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is we just trying to find that spearhead, which everybody's trying to do it, but everybody can't be the over leader. But that's why we love Matriarch Monday, and we do Matriarch Monday because it's Big Mama's all over the lands. It's Queen Khalifa's all over the lands, and y'all coming together and telling us the direction. Big shout out to you too, Big Chief Rod. Oh, hold on, everybody's saying the same to you. We appreciate you, Rod. We know you don't need no protection.
We all do. And that's what we all need to start doing, putting out our protection. Protect your loved ones, protect yourself. And then, like I said, get you a bag of popcorn, sit back, cross your legs, and watch the show. I don't care what chaos is raging right outside your window. You don't flinch. You don't even blink. Your lack of fear is your lamb's blood. And the chaos takes you over. So this is not about us. This is about what's falling. That's corruption. That's, the things that are, like I said, the abuse of power. If we didn't have abuse of power, there wouldn't be any problems. So that's the ultimate sin that's being taken down. The corrupted abuse of power by the systems of illusion that have now become fully corrupted at a global level. They've reached their full maximum 180 degrees. Energy can only go 180 degrees before it has to be balanced with the opposite 180 degrees. And we're at that crossroads right now, where it's time to balance from the completion of the half of struggle and sacrifice. Now it's time to reward. But you got to know it, the Aquarian age. You got to know your power before you activate it. If you don't know it, you don't have it. If you believe they can get you, yes, they can get you. And if you know they can't touch you, they can't touch you. But you got to know that, you see, be secure in knowing who you are and who you have a whole universe of arsenal at your disposal. Your mama is the universe. Your father is righteous, Father Spirit. So what in the hell do you have to fear? Okay? So when you're secure in that, and your participation in a bigger universal purpose being fulfilled, you see, that will bring you a lot of peace, a lot of security, and especially when it comes to your value, when it comes to what you're bringing to the table. I always say it's like the twinkling of a star. You're only responsible for one twinkle of the star, not the full twinkling. But the full one twinkle is just as important as the full twinkling. Because if you're not in position to make your contribution, when it's your time to shine, the star is not complete, it's not whole. If it's not whole, it's not real, you see. So individual is just as important as the full collective, because everybody has to bring their individual aspect as a contribution to the whole and harmonize as one. So, that's where it's at, you see. And rely on your spirit, rely on your inner self, and it'll reach you in ways, like I said, the more bizarre, because people ask, well, how do I know if it's my spirit? How do I know if it's my mind or what I'm thinking? Because they're both air elements. So your mind has been programmed to logic and reason and knowing. Your spirit is going to take you beyond logic and reason and knowing. It's going to be very bizarre. and how you get that message, you see. So the more bizarre you get the message, the more you know it's your spirit. Like I said, you could be riding down the street with a question on your mind and a billboard pops up and answer. That is spirit. Recognize it and stop logic and reason everything. You know, take things, you know, as it comes to you. I did a hypnotherapy and I got to talk to the spiritual counsel, and we had to submit 15 questions ahead of it. And the spiritual counsel answered all 15 questions. And at the end of it, they said, she knows all this already. She just doesn't trust she knows it, you see. So the Spirit is giving you guidance, is bringing you what you need to know, is bringing you everything you need to know to start walking in your knowing. You're just not trusting that your Spirit is doing that for you. So, you know, the inspirations, the inner voice, the hunches, the dreams, you know, the symbolism of astrology, numerology, all these are the type of tools your Spirit is going to use to guide you. That is why you can't stay in the left brain. You can't stay literal, because your spirit is representing a bigger purpose, a universal purpose. And there's just no way. The spirit lines things up before it don't work in fractions. It's going to line things up until it goes from one end all the way to the opposite end in balance. Your spirit is always going to work in balance. Spirit may say, dig a ditch 10 feet deep. As soon as you finish digging that ditch, then your spirit going to say, now build a tower 10 feet high. You're not done until you've done the balance. That's the key to everything. It's the key of creation. Two halves make a whole, holistic. And if it's not whole, it's not real. What's that?
No, I was agreeing with you. Okay. It's so many questions and comments in here. I be trying to support those that support us, and we most definitely appreciate everybody in the chat. I do want to wrap it up because I don't want to hold y'all too long. Rob, man, I appreciate you so much, Chief. You never disappoint us, man. Goddess, this was amazing. Last time we saw you, we gifted you a wand. But in hindsight, I understand why. You know what I'm saying? Why it fitted you even more. And I got to get you some turquoise. I got to get both of y'all some turquoise. Also, you said that when people are giving you donations and trying to cash up you, you're not getting your funds, are you?
Well, what's happening is they only get like a certain number can come in at a certain time period before they start shutting it down on the Cash App, you see. So what I say is try the Cash App first. If you can't get through the Cash App, then go to my website. You can make a donation on my website, and that's Sister Myra Moss.
Sister Myra Moss or Sister Myra?
Yeah, Sister Myra. Thank you, because Brother Rich had to do the same thing. That's sistermyra.com. So go to sistermyra.com. There's a donation there where you can put a donation if you can't get it through Cash App. But, you know, it's only after a certain number of donations, after a certain period, in a certain time frame, that they start shutting it down, and they'll send it back to the people.
Well, I have a suggestion. An ounce of silver right now, we know the prices of gold and silver go up every day. And we know that gold and silver is God's true currency. We know that the age of Aquarius is moving into rare earth minerals. Now, don't take my word for it, as bricks. But in that being said, that same donation that they're trying to give you, $50. Buy the guy that said ounce of silver and send it to her. A gram of gold right now is probably around 130-ish and going up every day. Buy a gram of gold if you got it like that, or buy yourself an ounce and buy yourself a gram of gold. This is how we're really messing up the system. On every matriarch dollar, on every matriarch coin, you see nothing but women on these gold backs and these gold coins. And you know what I'm saying? Chiefs.
Like I told you about Terry Shybro, the material kingdom is falling. Okay, you don't know how much longer that money is going to be worth anything. So you best do what's best with it at the time, right now, when it's worth something. So that's what I did with the bulk of my money. You know, the gold and silver. Yeah, that's
the best one right now. Silver, because gold is outrageous unless you're buying off the street. That's storage units or buying it from people that might not know. Start your own. We buy gold business, but silver is the next investment. Right now, an ounce of gold can buy a car. And by this time next year, an ounce of gold can buy a house. Don't take my word for it. Just watch. As right now, ounce of silver has went up in the last 6 months like crazy. They use silver in every appliance that you can think of. So,
it's at an all-time high on the market.
Yeah, copper. Look into the minerals. Stop sleeping on the minerals, like free gems. Right, man. Also, the same. I say with you. You can give us your cash app, but also I ask people to start donating silver. Go get a silver coin. Get two. Get one for yourself and send one to Rod. Get one for yourself. Send one to our sister Myra Moss. Support them in different ways because you hey, get into this game. Get into this game because this is our game. This is how this is what we've always done. This is what we've always done. Again, my apologies if I didn't get your comments. Hopefully, we can do this again because this was very powerful. Sister Myra Moss, you want to show off one of your wands?
Okay, let me go grab it.
And I gotta get you some turquoise, Chief.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we ran it for a minute. We have 454 right now. I hope if y'all enjoyed yourself tonight, please hit like. If you already hit like, please press share. Follow Rod Hayes, the Sick Ape. Go follow Sister Myra Moss. Support Sister Myra Moss's business. Get in where you can fit in because she is a busy woman.
Okay. Okay. Here's one. And you guys gifted it to me when I was there in Orlando. What year was that?
Maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I believe.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, you came out, you really supported, and we just appreciated your knowledge and your wisdom. So by you coming out and really rocking with us, that was amazing.
And here's another one. Let's see.
Okay, that you know the energy. All those are real seashells too. The full bright. Aquamarine. I don't know. Am I echoing?
Yep.
It's time to shut it down, man.
Yep.
Again.
And I used it when I first got back from Orlando. I used them in a very powerful ritual, and I understood that it got results that I wanted too. So,
they spiritual tools. 444. We just hit 444, y'all. Viewership. But yeah, the spiritual tools, and they need to go to spiritual people that know what like some tools find you. We've been saying this for a while, and I've had this for a minute, but I didn't understand why I was so attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We ain't got to talk. It's still symbolism.
Wow. Wow, that's magnificent.
And it's the Haru. And then you said it just a couple of days ago about how the Haru energy. I'm like, why am I attracted to these stones? Why am I attracted to certain things?
Yeah, Haru, that's Aries. Yep, Mars energy.
So, Chief, give me a cash at one time.
$sign Sick Ape. That's SIKAPE. My PayPal is the same thing, Sick Ape 01.
I shall say. And again, man, I appreciate you, Chief. We talk every day, and then I got to see you again tomorrow. We got a big thing going on tomorrow with crystals, magnets, and pyramid section.
I'm gonna be on there next week.
Ooh,
Brother Hank, yeah. I'm gonna be on his show next Monday. I'm gonna be on his show.
Oh, Matriarch Monday. I say.
Yeah,
But
I've been on there twice before.
Yes, ma'am. And we value both of y'all. We appreciate both of y'all. We honor both of y'all. We honor the ancestors known and unknown. We honor the great mothers known and unknown. I shall say. May the energy of all the great mothers, you know what I'm saying, dwell in that matriarch. The set of Shakors, all the great mothers known and unknown. You know what I'm saying? Did you have a cash app though? Just so we can
the $Myra Moss, MYRA, no H, MYRA MOSS, and the number is 813.
I shall say, man. Again, appreciation for everybody that was tapped in. Forgive me if I didn't get into all your questions and comments. If you want to support us, you can always come to our page and tap into our jewelry, our crystal technology. That's all it is. We in a new age, man. Get your technology up, get your shrines right. Peace and blessings to the tribe. I can't say enough. Love you so much, guys.
Brother Rod, love you, man. I really do. You know.
I had a ball. Thanks, Sister Myra.
Same here, and family. You know, and yes, Arisha Stone. Love you too. You know, I love my family. I really do.
Arisha Stone is the clan. That's the whole clan, but everybody kind of scattered out right now. But you already know the Phoenix Circle gives their love to you. Sky got a Skyward shout out. Shout out to Lady B. Shout out to Mama Ra. Mama Kali, the elders of the night, everybody known and unknown that's really out here trying to do something to change this reality into the reality we need. We can have heaven on earth, and that's what we're gonna keep on pushing until we get it. Somebody did ask in the comments how we know when the war is over. We're gonna know when the war is over because we're gonna be at peace.
Yes.
We ain't gonna have that stress and these traumas that they trying to force onto us.
Yes.
So I'm gonna leave it alone, guys. Appreciation.
Protection for people, without your protection.
I say also I am Sig, and anybody else I can forget about, man. We passed 11:11. We've done a lot of amazing things tonight. Appreciation, guys, and thank y'all again for everything y'all done. And I'll catch you again tomorrow, Rod.
All right.
All right.
Peace to guys.
All right.